Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya
Shankaracharya
Asmadacharya
Asmadacharya
Vande Guru
Vande Guru
Parampara.
Parampara.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau
Bhunaktu
Sahaviryam Bhavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari
Hari
Om.
Om
Shri Guru
Shri
Bhyo
Gurubhyo
Namaha.
Namaha
Hari
Hari
Om. Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya.
So last week we learned about 4 types of goals: Artha, Kama, Dharma, and Moksha. So out of these 4 goals, which is Purushottama, Purushartha, the superior one is Moksha. Why? Because all the other 3 goals, they have inherent defects, problems, they have shortcomings. These Dharma, Artha, Kama, they are all temporary, they are impermanent, they are fleeting in nature. Okay, that is why we should only pursue moksha eventually. So most of us are in pursuit of moksha. That is why we are studying scripture, Bhagavad Gita. Now, why do we say these 3 goals, Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, they have limitations, they have shortcomings, they are temporary, they only lead to suffering? Why do we say that? Because these 3 goals have defects, and it is called doshatrayam, 3 forms of defects. What are they? We will study. Doshatrayam, 3 forms of defects. Dosha is defect, trayam means 3. So what are these 3 defects that we are going to study today? So first defect is dukkha mishritatvam. While pursuing this artha or kama, what happens? First, we have to work hard. We have to make efforts to gain that. For example, money. Is it easy to earn money? No, it takes a lot of preparations, lot of efforts, and lot of good luck to earn money. So first thing is that it is painful thing. Nobody can earn money by sitting at home or just doing without doing anything. One has to put in efforts, pains to get that. Then after earning money, it is very difficult to keep that money, preserve it. First is the pain of acquisition, pain of earning the money. Second thing is the keeping the money, because the temptation will be very high to spend. There may be expenditures, people may be asking for loans, so many things are there. It's very difficult to preserve that money. And third thing is, suppose we spend everything or we lose that money in some bad investment or something, then it causes pain. So all these things, properties, money, wealth, or for that matter, even relationships, it's all mixed with this pain of getting, pain of preserving, and pain of loss. Even when we are maintaining that, there is always this nagging fear that I might lose that. I might lose that money. What will happen? I might lose this relationship. my near and dear one, what will happen? That will always be there. So for everything, whether it is money, whether it is people, or whether it is relationship, whether it is thing, whether it is a car, house, anything, this dukkha mishri tattvam is there. The pain of getting, then the pain of preserving it, and the pain of loss. So the happiness that we perceive, even though we say we are happy, but these are all mixed with sorrow only. If you analyze, you will understand how much we work hard to earn money, whether it is a job or whether it is business, whatever it is. How much efforts we have to put in, how much trouble we'll have to go through, how much pain we have to go through, that all of you know. Then second defect, second dosha is atripti karatvam. Whatever we accomplish, whatever we achieve, they don't satisfy us fully. Suppose we earn, say, let us say 20,000, 50,000 per month. Are we satisfied with that amount? There is always more requirement. We always crave for more. Suppose I am earning 20,000, I say that if I get 50,000, I can lead a better life. Suppose I am earning 50,000, I would think that if I earn about 100,000 per month, I can have a better life. I can live in a bigger house. I can drive a bigger car. I can eat in a fine restaurant. So many things are there. We are never satisfied. Okay, we are never satisfied. A person who is going by cycle will always crave for a two-wheeler. A person who is having a two-wheeler will always crave for a car. A person who is having a car will always crave for bigger car. Like that. A person who has no house will at least you say, if I have a rented house, I will be happy. Person who is living in a rented house will think that if I have my own house, it will be better. Then it comes to one bedroom hall kitchen. Then one bedroom hall kitchen person say thinks that if I have two bedroom hall kitchen, it will be better because children are there and other. People who are having two bedroom hall kitchen, they think that if I have three bedroom hall kitchen, then relatives come, they can stay. I have problem. So it is never ending. 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom. Then 4 bedroom after the person thinks I am living in a flat. If I live in a bungalow, it will be very nice, independent bungalow. The person who is living in a bungalow thinks that if I live in a penthouse, that will be better. It is never ending. It never satisfies us. Nothing satisfies us. If you have drive a Honda City, if the BMW or Mercedes or Audi passes, then we think that if we have the kind of car, it will be very nice. Something like that. We are never satisfied. It is a nature, human nature. It is human nature. So whatever we have, we take it for granted, and eventually we get bored. And we seek something fresh, something more. Because the same thing when we have, okay, we have got, say, iPhone 14. Last year we bought. Suddenly iPhone 15 comes, latest model, Pro Max, Pro, whatever it is. Then that iPhone 14 loses its charm. It looks like a dabba, it is gone. It has no worth now. I don't have the latest one. No satisfaction. 6 months, 1 year nowadays is more, it's too much. Everyone wants to have new model because new models are coming. Every year people change the phones. The phone which is iPhone 15, which has been released recently, it will lose its charm after 1 year. Then 16 will come, some features will come, something will come, then we get bored and we are not satisfied with the present model and we want to go for a better model, upgrade ourselves. That is atripti karatvam. Third defect is bandhakatvam. So whatever we gain, whatever we achieve, it leads us to bondage. Money. We are attached to money. We are so tight-fisted. We'll save it, put it here, put it here. We'll not lend to anybody. We will spend carefully. We want to preserve our money because in future we will need it for old age, for other expenses, buying a house, children marriage, parents medical expenses, or our own medical expenses. So many things are there. So we are attached to that money. The house we have, the home, we are attached to that. Even the dress we have, we are attached to that. If you in the house we find that children fighting with each other, how dare you touch my dress? No, they will not allow even to touch the dress. We are attached to everything, whether it is personal jewelry or personal watch, whatever it is. This all lead to bondage. We get attached to it. We have a nice car. No, a small scratch. No, it troubles us so much. A small scratch, after all, it is metal. It's only inanimate thing, but a small scratch causes a lot of anxiety and pain because of the attachment and bonding. So, and if I don't have this money, car, house, then I will not be able to remain happy because I depend upon external things for my peace, for my happiness, for my security. Security, peace, and happiness, we always depend upon external things, be it money, be it house, be it relationship, whatever it is, we are attached to that only. That leads to this bandhan, bondage, and nobody is free from that. So these are the three defects which cause problems. That is why we say raga, attachment to shoka, and to moha, delusion. You can ask, why not raga to sukha, happiness? Why sorrow? No doubt, happiness may be there, but it is temporary because of all these doshatrayam, three defects. Eventually, that happiness leads to sorrow only. You buy a new house, you are happy. After 10 years, starts leaking. House looks small, location is not good, Eventually, we become unhappy. Money is like that. Inflation. The money which we save now, it looks very comfortable. After some time, the expenditure will go up, inflation will go up. No amount becomes less, then we become unhappy. In everything, relationship, we lose people. There are accidents, there are deaths due to old age, disease, etc., etc. Because of that bondage, we suffer. Ultimately, you take anything that is only temporary. We can put it to test. You can name anything, whether it is yourself, your name, your own body, your own money, your own house, your own parents, your own children, your own spouse. You take anything. Can we say these things are permanent? We'll put to a test. Even my name is not permanent. I was born, I was given a name. When I die, nobody is going to say that this person is dying, lying down. Body is dead body is lying. The name goes. Okay, name is temporary. This body which we adore so much, we decorate, we keep healthy, eat good food, put on all the makeups, scents, deodorants, whatnot, beautiful dress. Again, this is temporary. One day we'll have to lose. The Shat Vikara will take place. Old age will set in. All this beautiful skin will get wrinkled. Teeth will fall off. Hairs will turn gray. Men become bald-headed. Women become hairs turn gray. Everything changes. Nothing is permanent. Relationships, husband or wife comes. And it is not that both Husband and wife are going to die on the same day. So when somebody will have to go first, somebody has to live alone. One day parents will go away, children will get married, they will get job, they will go away. Nothing is permanent in this three goals what we studied. Nothing is permanent in life. And unfortunately, what happens? Because of our ignorance, we depend upon these impermanent things for our permanent happiness. So we are searching permanent happiness from impermanent things. So can we get permanent happiness from impermanent things? It is not possible. That is where scriptures tell us you are complete in yourself. Because of your ignorance, you are not aware of that. You want external things, external relationship to complete yourself. You think that then only I am complete. Then only I am happy. We put conditional clause for our happiness. Whereas scriptures tell us you are purnatvam. You are complete in yourself. You don't require anything to complete yourself. Okay. Any questions on this doshatrayam? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Clear, Arya.
Okay, good. Then we'll go to. So, what is the purpose of this first chapter? He blew that conch. This fellow blew this conch. But what is the purpose of this first chapter? Why can't Vyasacharya started with? He could have started with the teaching directly, but a context is required. What there is a purpose. 47 verses in the first chapter. There is a purpose. Even though Shankaracharya has not written commentary on the first chapter, the commentary begins from the 11th verse of the second chapter. He gives a brief introduction to the first chapter. The context is very much required. Now we will try to understand what is the purpose of this first chapter, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. We have completed 31 verses. We have paused. We have pressed the pause button to understand all these things. Then we will continue from 32nd verse. So first chapter is.
One question, sorry.
Yes, please.
So you said that we are complete in ourselves, right?
We have completed
But
31 verses, na?
no, you said we are complete in ourselves. That is what you said now,
Yes,
right?
yes. We are Purnatvam.
Huh.
We are complete in our.
Purnatvam. Huh. But if you see as a person, we are dependent on our surroundings for our survival. That means I cannot survive alone on myself. I mean, food is coming from different people. Shelter is coming because of the help of others around us.
Yes.
So how we can tell that we can live alone or we can be alone?
No, see, naturally you have to get food to live. At the old age, you will require support, no, of others. No issues. We have to live with the support. What scriptures tell us, but don't depend on that for your happiness. If it is there, fine. If it is not there, then it is also fine. It is not that if food is not there, it is fine. Otherwise, we will die without food and without. These are basic things. But what happens? We hold on to things and we suffer. Like Arjuna is because of his attachment to his own people, and he had to suffer that. Like that, we also have attachment to everything. See, for living, how much we require? You take, no, basic living. How much we require? Hardly a handful of grains, a couple of dresses, a small place to live. Okay, but how much condition we put? Food items, you take food items. We have hundred thousands. we eat not for living, we eat for enjoyment. Morning, we have 2-3 different items. Afternoon, we have 3-4 different items. In between, we have some snacks. Then we drink, we go out, we enjoy. Food is used as an entertainment, enjoyment. That is where the problem comes. If I don't get tasty food, I will not be happy. What is the purpose of eating? It is only keeping the body alive. But are we doing that?
No.
That is the problem. So for everything, we have this attachment, we have desire. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That is where the problem comes. So otherwise, basic needs, why these hermits, monks and sadhus, they live a simple life? Because they don't require much. They have no desires. They practice austerities. Many of the yogis, they eat
But
once a day. They eat, have
but
their...
Acharya ji, let's say you have to live in the world. Sometimes you need to throw a party. Then
Yes,
and
yes,
we are
absolutely.
indulging them.
By all means, you throw the party. But you don't say that without party, I cannot live. I am a party animal. Without party, I cannot live. That is what we say. By all means, celebrate birthday. By all means, enjoy the love of everyone. But keep it in the back of the mind that one day this will go away. I will lose this. My parents, without that, I cannot live. Without them, there is a student. She is almost 50 plus. Her parents are very old. Then I tell her, you should be now mentally prepared. They are 85 plus 90 years. Anything can happen. One of them will go away first. No, don't say like this, sir. Don't say, please. I cannot just live without my parents. Please don't utter these words. So the person cannot even accept the reality. If a person does not prepare mentally, then the inevitable thing happens. Then the person is psychologically broken. That is what scriptures tell us. You prepare yourself, like you prepare for your old age. When we earn money, we save, isn't it? We save in PF, we save in deposits, we put in insurance, we take mediclaim, we save. It is not that after retirement we will look for some savings. We prepare ourselves. Like that, psychologically, scriptures also tell us you prepare. Don't dig well when the house is on fire. Be mentally prepared to face all these problems in your life. So Arjuna had failed in that. He failed to prepare himself mentally, psychologically. So when he faced his own people in the battlefield, he collapsed. Okay, eventually we'll see all these things. We'll discuss in. Okay, any other question? If there is no question, then
No,
okay. So for the first purpose, there are two purposes for the for this introductory chapter, first chapter, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. First purpose is the Vyasacharya presents the basic human problem, that is the samsara. Samsara, we are all having this problem, samsara. This is basic human problem, whether we are born in New Zealand or India or Africa, anywhere, irrespective of race, caste, creed. This is a fundamental problem, samsara. Okay, it is applicable to the entire human race. Okay, this is a common problem and it is not confined to any particular period of time. Since the beginning of this creation till the end of creation, as long as human beings live, this problem is going to be there, this samsara. So 5,000 years ago, Arjuna faced, and today we are facing, and after 5,000 years also, human beings will face this problem of samsara. So as long as these human beings are there, this creation is there, this samsara problem is going to be there. This is a fundamental problem which in our scripture is called samsara. All these attachment, all these raga, shoka, moha, these are all problems of samsara. In nutshell, it is called samsara. So, presenting this human disease, which is samsara, it is called bhavaroga or samsara roga, a disease. It is a disease. That is the first purpose of this first chapter. Why this problem is presented, why this disease is explained? Because from the next chapter, 2nd to 18th chapter, the remedy is given. First, you find out the disease. Then what you do? Then you look for a remedy. First, one has to understand that one has disease. Then one has to accept that this disease cannot be cured by myself. I need external help. Then we go to a doctor and doctor prescribes some medicine. Then we follow that course of medicine. Then we get cured. So this is the process. So first thing is to understand, to accept that there is a problem, disease. So that is the thing that is presented in the first chapter. What is the problem? This raga, shoka and moha. That is explained in the first chapter. So what is second purpose of this first chapter? That is introducing that Guru Shishya Parampara. Because the teachings are always in the form of a dialogue. The knowledge flows from Guru to Shishya. That is our Gurukul system in our scriptures. Any scripture you take, any Upanishad you take, anything, everything is in the form of a dialogue only. Like when we have a disease, we cannot cure ourselves. We go to a professional doctor. Similarly, when we have this ignorance, samsara problem, which is due to ignorance, we seek a guru. So that is the Guru Shishya Parampara is explained. These are the two purposes. So without a spiritual guide, a teacher, a student cannot learn. So who is the teacher here? Lord Krishna himself. And who is the disciple? Arjuna. So that context is explained. Even though Krishna was his friend, related also, and he was a charioteer, he was chauffeur, driver. But the situation so warrants that Arjuna surrenders, accepts the problem, he surrenders and requests for teachings. So in that context, the Krishna, the driver, the charioteer becomes the master. He was servant. Krishna was technically a servant to Arjuna, but he had to become his teacher. So this is explained in the second. This is the purpose of the second purpose of the first chapter. Because the entire teaching is in the Bhagavad Gita is in the form of a dialogue. So when we say samsara, it's a disease. Samsara is a disease. Okay. Samsara is a disease. It's a combination of three diseases. Okay. Raga, shoka, and moha. Attachment, sorrow, and delusion. Raga means attachment. If you take the case of Arjuna, he is attached to his kith and kin, his grandfather, his uncles, his teachers, guru, acharya, his cousins. That attachment, that emotional dependence caused the problem. How can I kill my own people? How can I live without them? Even if I win the kingdom, how I am going to be happy? Okay, this is attachment to the people. So when a person is attached, the person becomes emotionally dependent. Emotionally dependent. That is why we say that many times we say that I am my that person completes me. Without him or without her, I cannot just live. I cannot imagine my life without my children. I cannot imagine my life without my wife or husband. I cannot imagine my life without my parents. No, these things happen. It's a very common thing because we are emotionally dependent. We are attached to people with things also. Without money, I cannot live. Without such luxury, I cannot live. Psychological addiction, emotional dependence. Okay. So this raga is somewhat, can say it is selfish. It is for the sake of our own happiness. When we say without that person I cannot live, what do you mean actually? It is selfishness if you analyze it, because the scriptures differentiate between attachment and love. Attachment is always selfish. What I can get out of that person. You analyze it, it may sound vulgar, it may sound, terrible, but if you analyze, attachment is selfishness. It is always about taking benefit from others, whereas love is always giving. It is selfless. So scriptures encourage love, but they don't advise attachment, because attachment is conditional and love is unconditional. Okay, attachment is always taking what is good for me, what is beneficial for me, but love is always giving. So attachment is selfishness, whereas love is selflessness. That is why the great sant, great people, they love the humanity. It is selflessness. There is no selfish motive in the love. Only in attachment, selfishness is there. This is a raga, first of the 3 diseases. Any doubt on this raga, attachment?
No, it is clear.
Good. The second disease is soka, sorrow, which comes from this raga only, attachment. Invariably, inevitably, eventually, attachment leads to sorrow only, because we are psychologically dependent on that, whether it is money or thing or people. When we lose that, what happens? It leads us to sorrow, and no exception on this. Nobody likes to lose anything. When we lose, when we are not mentally prepared for that loss, we suffer. We suffer. So it is a psychological dependence, like a crutch, a walking stick. Without that stick, we cannot stand. A person who has crutches will fall down when the crutches are removed. Okay. Similarly, attachment is also a psychological crutch only, support only. So when that support is gone, we become frustrated, we become disappointed, then we become depressed, because the shock cannot be handled. And that shock causes trauma. Then people go into depression, suffer. All these things we see. We ourselves undergo that, and we see others undergo that. Somebody has asked a question, is it possible to be in love without getting attached? Yes, it is possible. For example, we love our children. Okay. Suppose the children, they get job abroad. They may not be able to visit, every year. We will not be able to live with them. But still, we say, you go ahead. You have a good life. Don't worry about me. I will manage. That is love. If you are so much attached, you say that we will say that, no, don't go away. I cannot live without you. Or you take me. So that is attachment. So most of the time, children, most of the cases, there is a love. We give without any expectation. Okay, that answers the question. Whoever has asked this question. Okay. Then third, we'll go to the third disease. Before going to third disease, we'll discuss about this attachment. So for physical security, we are all always preparing. But for this psychological security, we don't prepare ourselves. Okay. So when we don't prepare, what happens? Our future is in danger. Psychologically, we become vulnerable because we are not able to accept the fact that these things are all temporary. That one day our near and dear ones will go away, either due to a disease or old age or whatever it is. Getting job, getting married, women get, daughters get married, they go away. Sons get a job, they go away for their living. Parents, one day they will pass away. So physical security, we are preparing. Like we save from young age for our retirement. We don't start saving after retirement. We start saving in advance. We prepare for our future, for physical security. But what about psychological security? That is what scriptures question. Question is, if you don't prepare, then we get into this suffering, depression, shock, trauma, etc., etc. That leads to a sorrow. So Bhagavad Gita tells us that preparation, psychological preparation cannot be done when the problem comes. We cannot say, I will cross the bridge when it comes. Okay? We have to prepare in advance mentally. So the preparation has to be very early. Like old age, we prepare. We don't have anybody, then we say what we should do. We book a old age home. We make preparations, isn't it? We arrange for caretaker, whatever it is, we do it. Okay, we plan in advance. Similarly, the psychologically also we have to prepare in advance. So we should try to solve the problem at young age, not when we get old and the problems become inevitable. Okay. So when we lose this object of attachment or person of attachment, pain will come. Okay. And if you are going to tackle that pain at that time, it will not be possible. Many people just collapse. Many people just collapse. They go into slip into depression. There is no emotional support because a person has not prepared mentally. So the pain becomes too much. Person cannot take it. Okay. So preparation has to begin early. That is what scriptures like Bhagavad Gita teaches. So why we have to understand that whatever object, whatever relationship I depend psychologically, I depend upon psychologically is impermanent in nature. Nothing is permanent. It can be a possession, it can be people, it can be our property, it can be our own positions, no? Our own body, physical body, whatever we are attached to psychologically, these are all impermanent. We see
How about somebody else being attached to you, Acharya ji?
see that control we don't have. Okay. If somebody is attached to us, we can only tell them, teach them scriptures. These are impermanent. How much that person is ready to receive that knowledge, that is not in our hands. Because that kind of maturity should be there. Then prarabdha also comes into play. Because not everybody comes into moksha directly, isn't it? We don't seek moksha directly. It takes several births. So if somebody is attached to it, yes, it is your duty to give the love, to provide support. Like, we provide support to our family, children, husband, wife, parents. We do give because they are attached to us. But what is my attachment to them? That is where we have control. If I go away and my children suffer, that I don't have any control. But if the reverse happens, I am mentally prepared. Okay.
Okay.
So because of this impermanent nature of objects and people, eventually it leads us to sorrow. So scriptures ask us what preparation we have made to face this potential threat, these problems. Okay. Because this is going to happen to each one of us. Nobody is an exception. Eventually, we all have to go through this. We have to face these inevitable, unavoidable circumstances. Then, how prepared we are. Okay. That is the question. That is where teachings, scriptures help us. So, third disease is moha. From raga, attachment, to shoka, sorrow, and that shoka, sorrow leads us to moha, delusion. So when there is raga, that leads to shoka, attachment leads to sorrow, frustration, whatever it is. Then what happens? The intellect, the buddhi does not function properly. That buddhi, intellect is covered, veiled by raga and shoka. When we are under the influence of attachment and sorrow, naturally, we don't think logically, we don't take right decisions. Dharma becomes adharma, adharma becomes dharma. Like Arjuna, for him, dharma is to establish, to fight and establish righteousness as a Kshatriya. What happened? Because it's raga, he got into this shoka and he was under the delusion that I don't have to fight. I will not fight because I cannot kill my own people. He got this delusion. He got confused. Very intelligent person, a royal family. He got all dharmic teachings. Even then, because of this raga and shoka, he got into delusion and he refused to fight. So he took a wrong decision that I will not fight because it appeared to be right decision. Like, how can I kill my own people? And the right decision to fight, which Krishna himself had advised, you have to fight. And that appeared to be a wrong decision. And right appears to be wrong and wrong appears to be right. And this is called moha. And this leads us to adharmic way of life. In the case of Arjuna, adharmic way of life is, as a Kshatriya, it is his duty, his dharma to fight. When he refuses to fight, then it becomes adharma. So adharma is seen as dharma, and dharma is seen as adharma. This is delusion. Confusion is called moha. And this is a vicious cycle. This raga, shoka, and moha is a vicious cycle. How? Because when the intellect, buddhi gets veiled, clouded, okay, when once our vision, our objective becomes clouded, our actions will be wrong. In the case of Arjuna, what happened? He refused to fight. If a Kshatriya does not fight, who is going to fight? It is his duty, it is his dharma. So his action has become wrong. He took a wrong decision because his intellect was clouded. So when that wrong decision is taken, the situation becomes bad, worse. And what happens? That leads us to worry, and we take further wrong decisions. So it is like a chain reaction. Okay. This raga, shoka, raga leads us to shoka, shoka leads us to moha, and moha leads us to take wrong decisions because dharma appears to be adharma, adharma appears to be dharma. Then this is a cycle, we get into this vicious cycle of raga, shoka, and moha, attachment, sorrow, and delusion. Okay. So in order to escape this dependence, what happens? We go from one dependence to another dependence. No, suppose an example is given. Suppose a person wants to give up smoking. Okay. But in order to give up that smoking, the person goes to consume pan masala. Let us say. Then what happened? Is the person is free? No. The person has only changed from one disease to another, from one dependence to another. Okay. Earlier, the person was addicted to smoking. Now the person is dependent upon this tobacco or pan masala, whatever we call it. So problem has not been solved. It is only changing the disease from one to another, changing the dependence from one to another. Like sometimes, people have pets, at home, a dog or cat. Then everybody knows that pets cannot live forever. After a few years, there is loss of this pet. Then the sorrow becomes too much. What they do? They bring a new pet. Okay. Earlier, they were attached to the earlier pet. Now, what happened? The attachment is not gone. Only it has been transferred from old pet to the new pet because they're so much dependent on that emotionally, whether it is children or elders, whatever it is. These things happen, we see. So what happened? The attachment is not gone. It has been transferred from one to another. It is only changing the disease from one to another. This cycle of shuffling the disease, going from suffering to suffering, is the human problem. We are unable to get out of this attachment. Okay, that is why people get married, get divorced, they get married again, they get divorced, they don't learn. Attachment to suffering, suffering to delusion, and again marriage, divorce. How many times it happens? 3 marriages, 4 marriages, all failed because of this delusion. So these all collectively called samsara. Raga, shoka, and moha. Attachment which leads to sorrow, and sorrow which leads to moha. The combination of all these 3 diseases are collectively called samsara, roga, or bhava roga. It's a disease. So as I explained earlier, is presenting the samsara roga is the purpose of the first chapter. And the purpose of the next 17 chapters from 2nd to 18 is how to get out of this vicious cycle. Because presenting the disease, presenting the problem is one thing, but what is the solution? How do I get out of this samsara sagar? Okay, because we call it samsara sagar, but it is like an ocean. If we get into ocean, what happens? We cannot get out on our own. The waves are so powerful, the currents are so powerful, depth is so high, mighty ocean, we cannot get out without help. And that help is, who is the savior? Lord Krishna comes in the form of a savior. He says, yes, you can get out of this. Everybody is having this problem, but there is a solution also. You can get out of this vicious cycle. You can get out of this samsara. And that is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. How do we become independent from dependence? It is not physical dependence. Physically, we cannot become independent because old age will settle in. We will not be able to walk. We may not be able to walk. We need support. We need somebody to feed us. So many things are there. It's natural. But psychologically, how strong, how independent I become. That is moksha. That is freedom. That is liberation. So this is the first purpose of first chapter. And what is the second purpose? As I told you, Guru Shishya Parampara is introduced. Okay. So all the teachings, if you see any teaching, any Upanishad you take, anything you take, it is always in the form of a samvada between two people, Guru and Shishya, teacher and the disciple. So Sampradaya says that one should always learn from a guru and never try to learn on your own. That is strictly prohibited. Why? Because when we have any disease, any problem, do we take medication on our own? Yeah, 1 or 2 days we may take some, metacin, what we call paracetamol, etc. But if fever persists, then what we do? We don't take medication. We go to a professional. Because if you don't diagnose and we don't take medicine, or if you take wrong medicine, what happens? It can become counterproductive, dangerous. So if you don't take medicine, at least it is acceptable. But if we take wrong medicine, and it will lead to dangerous consequences. Similarly, these scriptures, they are very difficult to understand. The chances of getting confused, the chances of getting wrong knowledge are very, very high. That is why one should never attempt to learn on one's own. We should always go to a teacher that is there in all the teachings, in all the scriptures tell us, always go to a guide who knows. Because a doctor, just like a doctor knows what he is doing, he knows how to diagnose. The doctor knows how to treat you, what medication is to. Similarly, a guru knows, because the guru has walked the path. His guru has taught him or her, and he or she knows how to teach. Otherwise, what will happen? If the teacher is not knowledgeable, the teacher has not walked the path, learned from a proper guru, it will be like a blind man leading another blind. What will happen? A blind person leading another blind person. So both of them will get into trouble. Okay. So that is second purpose, introducing a teacher and student, disciple. Okay. Who is a qualified guru and qualified shishya? Here guru is the Lord Krishna himself, more than a qualified guru because he is avatara of Lord Narayana himself. And disciple is Arjuna. And what is the context? The context is the Mahabharata war. So Arjuna discovers the problem when the chariot is placed in between these two armies. He discovers this disease, discovers his helplessness. Then he understands that I cannot solve this problem. It is beyond my capability. I cannot solve this. So he surrenders to Lord Krishna, like we go to doctor and surrender ourselves. We never question. If doctor says you carry out this test, we carry out this test. He says you take this medicine, we take this medicine. It's a surrender, Like that, Arjuna surrenders to Lord Krishna because he knows he is the doctor who knows the remedy and he has the medicine. So that is the qualification of a teacher. And what is the qualification of student? Discovery of the human problem. First, as a student, we have to understand that there is a problem. Then, what is the remedy? That is why you are all attending this course, Bhagavad Gita class on a beautiful Saturday morning instead of sleeping late or going to some outside extra restaurant to eat or stroll in the park, etc., etc. Okay, because you have accepted, you have discovered there is a problem, and you are seeking solution. Okay, that is the qualification of a student. First, you discover the problem. Okay, and without discovering the problem, one will not understand the relevance of remedy. So first qualification is discovery of the problem. So Guru should be free from the disease, means here free from ignorance. The teacher is knowledgeable. The teacher has knowledge and the teacher knows the remedy. That is the qualification of Guru. First, the teacher should be free from the disease problem and who knows the remedy and who knows how to impart that knowledge to the disciple. So here in the Mahabharata context, we find that both Arjuna and Krishna are more than qualified to be disciple and Guru. And these two qualified people come together in the middle of the battlefield. Arjuna as in the form of a disciple, seeking knowledge from Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna from charioteer, from servant becomes the master, and he becomes the Guru. So this is the context, this is the condition, ideal condition has been created to impart the teaching. And through Arjuna, we are also going to learn the remedy. We are also going to get the knowledge. Through Arjuna, Lord Krishna imparts that knowledge to us. So the knowledge starts from the second chapter, from 11th verse. So with this, we will conclude here. From next week.
Acharyaji,
Yes.
can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
How do we explain that Guru Shishya relationship in case of Aiklavya?
In what context you are asking?
The previous slide, you said Arjuna was qualified to be a disciple in the previous slide, and Krishna was qualified to be a guru.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, how can I explain that for Aiklavya situation?
Yeah, because he was not accepted as a disciple, but whereas he is accepted Drona's Acharya's. See, again, these things are, contextual and they are stories. So we cannot generalize that. It is an exception, and it should be taken as a story only. Because these Puranas, they have a lot of stories like this. So these are exceptions, whereas the Guru has not accepted him as a disciple. But that is the basic thing. A teacher has to accept the student, then only knowledge can be imparted. Whereas in the case of Eklavya, he learned from the Guru, but he was not accepted as a student. So that is an exception.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank
This
you.
type of stories will come. Lot of stories are there. So we have to just take it as a story. That's all. We should
Thank
not search for knowledge or learning from that. Okay. Any other questions? This doshatrayam, raga, shoka, moha, the context. Because it is very important to understand. We should not dismiss that first chapter is just introductory chapter. They are equally, it is equally important. We should understand the context, then only we will be able to appreciate. Because first we have to know what is the problem, what is samsara, and that samsara is explained in the first chapter. And from second chapter, the knowledge starts, teaching start, we go to remedial path. We learn the remedy. Okay. Any questions? There are no questions. We'll say the final prayer and close the class. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu
Santu
Niramaya
Niramaya
Sarve
Sarve
Bhadrani
Bhadrani
Pashyantu
Pashyantu
Ma
Ma
Kaschit
Kaschit
Bhave
Bhave
Asato Ma
Asatoma
Satgamaya
Satgamaya
Tamaso Ma
Tamasoma
Jyotirgamaya
Jyotirgamaya
Mrityorma
Mrityurma
Mritam Gamaya
Gamaya
Om Purnamada
Purnamada
Purnamidam
Purnamidam
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnamudachyate
Purnasya
Purnasya
Purnamadaya
Purnamadaya
Purnamevashishyate
Purnamevavashishyate
Om
Om
Shanti
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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha
Shri Gurubhyo
Hari
Namaha. Hari
Om
Om.
Om Tat
Thank
Sat
you, Acharya
Om
ji.
Namah
Om Tat Sat.
Shivaya.
Thank you, Acharya ji.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Acharya ji.
Thank you.